An updated flea and tick warning? What? What is going on, Tula? Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you've yet to do so, I encourage you to get a copy of my free book. You can click the link in the box below. God, even Tula thinks so, right? At the FDA, they recently released this, an updated flea and tick warning. They updated and added a new drug to this class of isoxazolines that have now been documented to be causing serious neurologic adverse events, things such as seizures, in both dogs and cats. There are now 5 different brands that are affected: Bravecto, NexGard, Simparico, Credelio, and a new product now called Revolution Plus. They're primarily approved for the treatment of flea and tick infestations, kind of covering everything. Makes you, first of all, makes it super convenient, for you as a dog or cat owner. Like, God, I can just give one thing and treat it all. The Revolution Plus can also deal with heartworm, can also deal with ear mites. You're like, God, why would you? For obvious reasons, though, as now these documented adverse effects. So I picked up one of the ones, the top one on the list, called Bravecto here. Here's my little package of Bravecto for Tula. Each tablet contains 500 milligrams of the active ingredient, fluoralaner, however you pronounce that properly. It kills fleas for the treatment and prevention of flea infestations and the treatment and control of tick infestations with Dermacentor variabilis, the American dog tick, for 12 weeks. First of all, like, holy crap, that, one tablet can do all that and work for 12 weeks. I mean, that's dang convenient. So what are they causing? They report 3 things. They report, in some dogs and cats, it's causing muscle tremors. So you can imagine with little Tula, she might just have this involuntary muscle shaking. Maybe her head is tremoring. Secondarily, they report ataxia, so that's almost this like sort of weakness or wobbling, side to side, similar to how you might expect to see your dog or cat act if they're being poisoned. Then third, they're reporting seizures, where you can imagine in an epileptic seizure where your dog's neck and head are extended, his legs are extended, he's rigid, he's lying on his side, and his legs are paddling. So some pretty serious things can be happening. So what do? Do you give your dog and cat these medications? Do you look for alternatives? Are you a bit worried about the potential for side effects and you're looking for something else, or just a bit of reassurance? A few comments. First, I have a primary concern about the amount of studies that have gone on before these are approved. And you've got 5 different companies producing 5 related type drugs, and now they're reporting these serious adverse neurologic events. So when I just question the length of the studies and what's involved and the minimum that is required to have the FDA approve it. Second big point is they report that it appears that most animals are okay on these medications. Personally, I'm not going to have Tula on them. I'm obviously not going to have Murray on them. And I would only have my dog or cat on these meds if it was a serious, serious concern, where there's just this overwhelming, say for instance, tick population, and there's no other way that I can seriously control it, or this huge flea infestation. But long term, no, I wouldn't. And I think if you think about it conceptually around any drug that can do all that, you give it once, it's going to last. Give it once, it's going to give you three months, like 12 weeks of control for fleas and ticks. Makes you think there's a potential for side effects. So I'm not surprised to see that. I'm not going to be using them, and nor would I encourage anyone to use them. And have you be just really cautious anytime you're going to use sort of newer generation, stronger medications that appear to do it all. What are your options? Well, fortunately, there's some newer alternatives coming out now, even ones that are even approved, been reported on by the FDA, approved by the EPA. There's some newer generation of essential oils, essential oil blends that are proving to be effective for flea and tick control. There's some sort of newer modified based on essential oils, such as the Alaskan cedar, that have now been being developed commercially, that are now showing to be effective against even these really hard to deal with critters, the ticks. We'll put some links to some of those products, and there's definitely going to be a future video going over some of the sort of flea and tick alternatives. So if your dog or cat is on these medications, first of all, just reevaluate it. Do you really think they need to be on them? Secondarily, obviously you see any type of neurologic type event, even if it's a muscle tremor, ataxia, weakness, seizuring, report it to your veterinarian. My inclination would be to getting my animal off those meds, knowing that there's a direct link with them. And that they're just encourage you to seek out some of those alternatives, not just sticking with the conventional ones. Thanks so much for watching this edition of Veterinary Secrets. If you've yet to do so, I encourage you to get a copy of my free book. You can click the link in the box below for more information.